Welcome to Uranus is Blue. You are listening at locallivehouston.com/pop radio. Please visit the Facebook page at Uranus is Blue to be a part of the conversation. What kind of response are you getting about
Right. So I think the main response, like the first year I started Sistah Sinema, everybody's like, so what are you going to show? Because there was just like a lack of awareness that there were movies focused around Uranus. I think people could name like one or two. And like and actually when I started Sistah Sinema, I didn't know what I was going to show. I was like, I think I can show all the episodes of the L Word. I was like, I think that counts, but I didn't have to do that. I was able to find stuff that I didn't know existed when I started Sistah Sinema, so that was really exciting. When I tell my friends about it, especially the non-queer women of color friends, the first thing they say is like, "Oh, you need a larger target market, right? Like, there's not enough.
Like there's not enough.
Right?
They don't exist.
Right. And right now I feel like Sistah Sinema is it's not making tons of money, but it is at least breaking even. And I feel like we haven't really penetrated the queer and color market. So,
how long have you been doing it?
It's like 2 years and 3 months, so not that long.
That's not long at all.
And then we really started just in Seattle, right? So in terms of like the other cities, most of the cities are like less than 6 months old. And the oldest is Cleveland, which will be a year in June. So they have yet to like build mindshare amongst queer and color, and then the website just started like a little over a month and a half ago.
Wow.
So we haven't really penetrated the market. So I definitely feel like once we've penetrated the market, like it can be profitable. And right now, Sistah Sinema breaks even, right? Which is good because, we're not that old yet.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that there's enough of us and we're engaged enough. And so when I was like, is there enough to really support the model? I was like, Black Lesbians United has like 40,000 Facebook fans, and that's just like Black lesbians. So
and I performed at Blue last year, right. So that's it's all connected.
It's all community. Yeah.
We were talking about a particular issue that happened
Yes.
where that kind of there was some patriarchal, there was some entitlement issues going on in the crowd. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, and so just to reiterate, we do welcome all members of the queer community. So whether you're gay, you're lesbian, you're bi, you're transgender, you're questioning, you're queer, you're ally, you're intersex, the whole alphabet of the queer community. So this member of the queer community who ended up being a white heterosexual man ended up like being the opening question for this post-movie conversation, which I do appreciate him participating in the conversation, but it kind of reframed the conversation. So the focus was less on issues facing queer women of color and more of like an outsider's experience in the community, which is not the mission of Sistah Sinema. The mission of Sistah Sinema is to really create a space for queer women of color to come together and talk about the problems and the issues that we face, and share our experiences. And we open it to the rest of the queer community so they can have that exposure and deepen their understanding and their awareness of those issues, and ask questions about our experiences as they see fit, and not necessarily reframe the conversation. So it's just something to keep in mind of as you come to the Sistah Sinema, and something that I'm aware of too. So if we're doing when we do the Sistah Sinema, for example, about trans gender identity, I won't lead that discussion. I probably won't talk that much, and I will be there listening because it's I don't really have that much to add. It's not my place to talk. And so just being aware of that at various Sistah Sinemas, right? When should you listen and when should you actively participate, and so forth.
And I think that's a very important thing to pay attention to as activists in general. There are many ways that privilege play out. I am privileged in a lot of ways. I am privileged being an English speaker in this country. I am privileged being of a certain height and weight in this country. My hair is fly, and that is a privilege. So, when you're interacting with communities that don't necessarily feel empowered in that space, are used to being silenced, give them an opportunity to speak first. Even if y'all are sitting there waiting for 10 minutes before somebody opens their mouth for the first time, things like Sistah Sinema almost function as kind of a group therapy for the people who are interacting with those topics and who share that common.
Right. And it's true. And even though I've never framed it right, but that's 100% right. And it's a therapy session that we're opening it up to the larger public, so you can understand this better. So when and understand where the dialogue comes and like cultural diversity within the queer community, right? Or where those gaps are, where some of those divides come, and hopefully bring down some of those divides, and understand the politics of identity. Okay? So I'm kind of fascinated, like when we do Still Black, the language that will be used and how it'll be framed, like in terms of pronouns, in terms of how you address transitioning and so forth. It's a whole nother language, and how do you speak about that whole process and that whole gender identity in that community in a way that's respectful.
I'm excited about all of this. How can I be down?
How can you be down?
How can I be down?
You know how you're gonna be down. You're gonna be doing a lot. But for everybody, yeah, she's like, okay, move on.
How could the listeners be down?
Right.
If they hear you like, yeah.
Definitely like the Sistah Sinema Facebook page. So it's facebook.com /Sistah Sinema, and Sistah is spelled Sistah, and Cinema is spelled with an S. And so you can find us on Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter. You can visit our website, which is sistahsinema.com. You can volunteer for a particular month, and if you just really want to like get knee deep, shoulder deep in Sistah Sinema, you could bring Sistah Sinema to your city. And if you're interested in that, you can fill out the contact us form on the site, and we can have a discussion on how you can bring Sistah Sinema to your town. So those are the ways to get involved. As an organizer, definitely if you're a filmmaker and you've made a movie or a short about queer women of color, send us a trailer and we can consider it. We pretty much have a calendar set for 2013, but we're about to start. We'll make selections for 2014 in September. So send us your trailers if you're a filmmaker. And yeah, so those are the ways. If you're a venue owner, if you're a queer woman of color venue owner and you want to host a Sistah Sinema event in an existing city, then that's another great way to get involved.
Okay, so what about venture capitalists? If they're just like, I just want to make some money, is that cool with you? Or do you kind of have to also have the mission, or?
Yeah, so in terms of like being an investor, I think it's too early for Sistah Sinema at this stage to just invest. We're also kind of, there's so many great causes all over, so we're kind of reluctant to just take straight donations. So if you want to come and buy a ticket, that's great. So come to Sistah Sinema event, buy tickets, buy the filmmakers' movies, go to Sistah Sinema online, rent films. But I don't think that's sustainable to ask for a donation, so I tend not to. We did do a Kickstarter campaign to get the investment to launch Sistah Sinema online.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, so that was a lot of fun. A lot of work, but a lot of fun. But yeah, so at this point, it's really, you have to be about, so if you want to bring Sistah Sinema to your town, you have to understand, like, this is how it works out financially, and really be about creating that space for queer women of color. Like that's more important than anything. It's more important than having that experience or, being super, are you really focused on creating that space for queer women of color? And the most successful cities, that's been their primary focus.
What cities are you in?
We are in Seattle and Portland. We're in Cleveland and Atlanta. Right now, we will launch in Greensboro in April, and Chicago in May, most likely, and Oakland as well, and then Kingston, Jamaica. So yes, those are the cities that we're in. Right?
So how did you find the people to be involved? Did they come to you, or did you go to them, or did you go to the city? Did they?
Right. So it's so for everybody except for Atlanta, like they came to me through Facebook. Yes. Oh, maybe. So yeah. So everybody except for Atlanta, they came to me through Facebook. With Atlanta, I started off like I was like, I really want to be in Atlanta. Did somebody tell me who would be a good point person in Atlanta? And it became like somebody's like, you need to talk to this person, you need to talk to that person. And eventually we found Amber Moore, who is the lead for the Real Boys Elf Talk initiative in Atlanta, and now she runs Sistah Sinema Atlanta. So
Wow.
yeah.
And Kingston, Jamaica.
Kingston, Jamaica.
Because look, for anyone who doesn't know, Jamaica is pretty notorious for being against
right,
queerness,
right,
gayness.
right.
So, I mean, to be gay in Jamaica is life-threatening.
Right.
Right? To be gay in Portland, you know, it's not that big a deal.
Right.
It can be an inconvenience, but generally not even really.
Right, that's true.
You know, there are different cities that have, you know, populations are more tolerant, but in places like Jamaica, people are very vicious.
Right.
So to be a proctor of a film, Sistah Sinema in Jamaica, like, these people are serious.
It's bold and it's brave. So when they reached out to me, I was like, oh my God, like, it's one thing to be out in a country like Jamaica. Like, I'm gonna be out, I'm gonna love women and so forth. And it's a totally different thing to decide. I'm gonna be active and I'm gonna be engaged and I'm gonna be a leader in the queer community, and I'm going to bring queer women of color together. So when they emailed me, they're like, can we do a Sistah Sinema in Kingston? I was like, yes, like whatever, you know, we need to do. And they actually had already started the Soul Collective, where they bring like different art events, you know, to a portion of their home space and like allow queer women of color together. They've done a Skype call with Stacey and Chin. Again, the website is www.sistahsinema.com. That's SISTAH Cinema SINEMA.com, and that'll connect you to our Facebook page, our Twitter page, how to email us, and all that good stuff. Our next screening will be in April, which in several cities we'll be screening Love and Cigarettes by Tiana McLeod. It's a beautiful short that really focuses on the importance of getting tested for HIV and other STIs.